The smell of freshly brewed coffee wafted through the sleek, open office space as I stared out over the bustling streets of San Francisco from my tiny cubicle. I had poured my heart and soul into this job, and today was supposed to be the culmination of those efforts. Over the last few months, I had led a successful product launch, my team's hard work paying off, and now, after a long intense meeting, I had just received the news, a well-deserved promotion and a substantial raise. Yes. I can't believe this, I exclaimed, a mix of disbelief and elation bubbling in my chest. I dashed out of my cubicle, the sharp clicks of my heels echoing against the polished floor as I made my way to Sarah's desk. You'll never guess what just happened. Did they finally recognize your brilliance? She teased, her bright eyes sparkling with excitement. Yes, I got the promotion. I could hardly contain my joy. As Sarah wrapped her arms around me, laughter and warmth enveloped the moment until it shattered like glass. 3 days later, the laughter turned to whispers, leaving a cold pit in my stomach. My office door swung open suddenly, and there was James, my boss, standing there with a smug expression I'd come to dread. Mia, he said, his voice dripping with malice. We need to talk. I felt my heart race, sweat pricking at my palms as his words slammed into me. You're being let go, he continued, casually pushing aside the papers on my desk. Company realignment and all. What, this must be a mistake. My voice rose, panic flooding my senses as the reality of his betrayal settled in. Did he really fire me right after promoting me? In that moment, everything I had worked for felt lost, but beneath the devastation, something else ignited a fierce urge for justice. I needed answers, and I was determined to find them. Late that night, my fingers danced across the keyboard as I sifted through emails, searching for clues. As I opened the thread between James and upper management, my breath caught. They discussed unethical practices, nature of the beast in this cutthroat world. I couldn't believe my eyes. I had solid proof. Yet, in that moment of triumph, an unsettling thought crept into my mind. Would exposing this come back to bite me? Before we dive deeper into what happened next, a quick reminder for all our viewers. YouTube has been clearing out inactive subscriptions, so make sure you're still subscribed and drop a like to support the channel. Now, what will Mia do with this newfound weapon? Stay tuned as the intricacies unfold. The glow of my laptop screen lit up the dim room, a beacon in the night as I read the incriminating emails over and over again. A knot twisted in my stomach, fear and adrenaline coursing through me. I had stumbled upon something massive. James wasn't just the petty boss I thought he was. He was a player in a corrupt game, and I had the cards right in front of me. The prospect of exposing him was exhilarating, but the risks felt enormous. I leaned back in my chair and stared at the wall adorned with motivational quotes, words that now felt hollow. I thought about my parents and all the sacrifices they had made. They believed my promotion heralded the start of a successful career, not a swift descent into chaos. How could I tell them I was just fired, even after achieving so much? My phone buzzed. A message from Sarah interrupted my swirling thoughts. Can we talk? I have a bad feeling, it read. My heart raced. What if she knew? What if she was involved in all of this? I picked up my phone, fingers hesitating over the screen. But she was my closest friend in this cutthroat place, and I needed someone to confide in. We met at a small cafe just around the corner, its ambience a stark contrast to the storm brewing in my mind. As she sipped her coffee, concern etched across her face. What's really going on, Mia? She whispered, glancing around nervously. I think there's more to what happened, I confessed, my voice barely above a whisper. James fired me because of something he doesn't want anyone to find out. Sarah's eyes widened. What do you mean? Are you saying he's involved in something illegal? I nodded, relaying the details of the emails, watching her reaction closely. Confusion turned to shock, then something darker, fear. You need to be careful, she said, leaning closer. If he's that powerful, you're playing a dangerous game. Part of me wanted to drop the whole thing, but I couldn't ignore the sense of justice rising within me. What could I uncover if I pushed harder? I need to know the truth, Sarah, I said, determination lacing my words. As we parted ways, my heart raced with anticipation and apprehension. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about revealing the truth that could shatter lives, including my own. But as I walked back to my apartment, one question lingered in my mind: is the truth worth the risk? Before we unravel more of Mia's journey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, not only to follow her story but to stay updated with our incredible content. What will she decide next? The tension continues to build. Stay with us. The sun rose over the San Francisco skyline, casting a golden hue that should have brought warmth, but instead, it cloaked me in dread. The weight of the incriminating emails loomed over me, a mixture of anger and courage swirling in my chest. I paced my apartment, heart thumping as I went through all the wild, tangled scenarios in my mind. What did I really know? A deep breath grounded me as the hum of the city became a distant murmur. I could confront him, I whispered to myself, hope flickering. But then another thought crept in: could doing this cost me more than just my job? I picked up my phone and scrolled to Sarah's contact, my finger hovering over the screen. Could I confide in her? She was my best friend, but could I trust her completely? Just then, my inbox pinged an email notification from James. My stomach lurched. Had he figured it out? I opened it gingerly. Subject line: urgent, need to discuss. The tone was mocking, yet chilling. I wasn't merely a pawn anymore. I was a player, and he was making his move. But what did he want this time? Nervously, I clicked reply and typed, "I'm available anytime." My heart raced as I hit send. It felt like I had stepped onto a tightrope, and I was desperately trying to maintain my balance. The minutes crept by until my phone buzzed again. "Meet me at the office ASAP." Panic surged, but I knew this was my chance to confront him. What if I could draw out his accusations, his fears? It was risky, but it could expose the truth I needed. Before heading out, I glanced at the mirror, checking my reflection one last time. "You've got this," I whispered, steeling my resolve. But as I headed to the office, the nagging question returned: would I unveil my truth or shatter my world even further? Stay tuned for the next chapter as I uncover the tangled web of secrets that could change everything. And remember, if you want to ride along on this journey, make sure to hit that subscribe button. What happens when Mia faces James again? The tension thickens. The sun hung low in the San Francisco sky, painting the office with an orange glow that felt oddly deceptive. I walked through the sleek lobby of our tech startup, my heart pounding in my chest. Each step echoed the anticipation and dread swirling within me. I hadn't planned on confronting James today, but the email demanded it. He wanted a meeting, and I could only imagine what this would entail. Would he try to intimidate me further, or would he attempt to manipulate me into silence? As I approached the elevator, I took a deep breath, steeling myself for whatever was about to unfold. The metal doors slid open, and I stepped inside, my mind racing. My heart raced with a mixture of resolve and anxiety. I had information that could unravel his empire, but the reality of the situation was insidious. After all, who was I in the grand scheme of his corporate chess game? The elevator ride felt agonizingly slow, every ding of the floors reminding me of the time ticking away. Finally, the doors opened to my floor. The moment I stepped out, the buzz of the office enveloped me, but I felt detached from it all. I couldn't shake the nagging feeling in my gut. What in the world did James want from me? I walked to my desk cautiously, eyeing the door to his office. It was ajar, and even from this distance, I could see him pacing back and forth, his silhouette sharply cutting through the golden light that streamed into the room. I took a moment to gather my thoughts, trying to push aside the uncertainty. I had to approach this with caution, intelligence, and fearlessness. After what felt like an eternity, I knocked lightly on the doorframe. "James." He looked up sharply, his expression a cocktail of irritation and surprise. "Mia, come in." I stepped inside, my heart racing with every step. The office was immaculate, filled with expensive art and cutting-edge technology, a stark reminder of the power he held. He leaned back against his desk, arms crossed, a calculating smile plastered on his face. "I appreciate you coming on such short notice," he said, his voice smooth but laced with an undercurrent of menace. "I wanted to discuss your recent absences." "Absences?" I echoed, feigning confusion. "I've been busy trying to tie up loose ends from the project launch." "Right." He nodded slowly, his gaze narrowing. "But maybe your time would be better spent reflecting on your position within the company." I swallowed hard, the implication implicit in his words, the threat lurking beneath his facade of professionalism. "Or perhaps we should discuss the emails you've been exchanging with upper management," I countered, surprising myself with the boldness of my response. A flicker of surprise crossed his face before he masked it with a chuckle, leaning in as if this were all a game. "Emails? I have no idea what you're talking about, Mia." "Really? Because they're quite revealing," I said, my voice steady despite the adrenaline racing through me. "It seems like there are some questionable ethics in play that you might want to address." For a second, silence hung in the air, thick and pregnant with tension. I watched as his expression shifted, anger flickering in his eyes. "You really think you can threaten me?" he sneered, stepping closer. "You're in over your head. You have no idea what you're dealing with." "I might not know everything," I shot back, heart pounding, "but I know enough to fight back." "Do you really think everyone here is blind to what you're doing?" His smile returned, but it didn't reach his eyes. "You're delusional, Mia. If you persist with these accusations, I will make your life a living nightmare. You'll regret this." Fear surged within me, almost paralyzing, but there was a flicker of something else, defiance. "You can try, but I've come this far, and I'll go further. I won't let you silence me." He leaned closer, an ominous shadow looming over me. "Just remember, you have a lot to lose, while I have connections and power. Think carefully about your next steps." I straightened, summoning every ounce of courage. "No, I'm not afraid of you. I'll expose the truth." With that, I turned to leave, every nerve tingling with an electrifying mix of fear and exhilaration. As I stepped out of his lair, my mind buzzed with possibilities. What had just happened? Had I really stood up to him? The office felt different, now charged with electricity, alive with anticipation. My mind raced as I made my way to Sarah's desk, needing to confide in her about my confrontation. "Hey, Mia," she greeted, concern flashing in her eyes as she noticed my flushed cheeks. "Are you okay?" "I just talked to James," I said, my voice trembling slightly. "He didn't deny anything, but he threatened me." Sarah's gaze darkened. "What did he say?" I recounted our tense standoff, and as I spoke, her face paled further. "This is serious, Mia. You need to stay vigilant. I can help, but we must tread carefully." "I'm tired of being scared," I declared, a sense of newfound strength swelling within me. "I can't let him push me around anymore." "Then we have to strategize," Sarah said, determination sparking in her eyes. "We need a plan." As we huddled over files and documents, a plan began to take shape. What could we piece together? Who else could we involve? My mind buzzed with possibilities, but in the back of my mind, the nagging question remained: was this path leading us to victory, or was it taking us deeper into a trap? Before we dig deeper into our next steps, remember to hit that subscribe button to follow the twists and turns of Mia's journey. What will their plan reveal? Could exposing James lead to liberation or destruction? Stay tuned, because the next chapter promises to escalate the stakes. The soft chirping of birds outside my window broke the heavy silence of my apartment as dawn broke over San Francisco. Unfurling from an uneasy sleep, I reflected on the past few days, a whirlwind of confrontation, intimidation, and a rising tide of determination. Today would mark a pivotal moment in my journey. No more playing it safe. I was ready to fight back against James and help expose the truth about his unethical practices. I pulled on a crisp blazer, a new sense of purpose stitched into every fiber of the fabric. It was a symbol of my resolve, a shield against the oppressive atmosphere that seemed to hang around the tech startup like fog. My phone buzzed on the table, breaking my thoughts. A message from Sarah made my heart race. Let's meet at the cafe before work. We need to be on the same page. When I arrived at the cafe, the enticing aroma of coffee swirled around me, but I felt no comfort in it today. Sarah was already there, tapping away on her laptop, her brow furrowed in concentration. The moment she glanced up and saw me, her eyes softened. "Ready for this?" "As ready as I can be," I replied, sitting across from her and lowering my voice. "I can't let James intimidate me anymore. I'm tired of feeling powerless." "Then it's time to turn the tables," she said, nodding resolutely. "I've been gathering everything I can. Let's lay it out and see how we can hit him where it hurts." With each document we reviewed and every strategy we discussed, my confidence surged. If we could compile enough evidence to illuminate James's unethical dealings, we could possibly leverage that information to get him out for good or, at the very least, safeguard my future. "Okay," Sarah said, biting her lip as she scanned the documents. "What if we present this to upper management? It would show you're serious and not just making baseless accusations." I hesitated, the weight of that decision settling heavily on my shoulders. What if it backfires? What if James retaliates? And what if he doesn't? She pressed, her eyes burning with fierce loyalty. "You can't keep letting fear dictate your choices, Mia. This is your career, your life." Perhaps she was right. Taking a deep breath, I nodded. "Let's do it." We raced against time, crafting a carefully worded email to the upper management team. Rosemary, the head of HR, was known for her no-nonsense attitude, and I hoped her sense of justice could help us navigate this minefield. As we pressed send, adrenaline coursed through my veins. The die had been cast. Later that day, I found myself pacing my tiny cubicle, waiting for a response. My heart raced, sending waves of anxiety through me. Would I be met with silence, or would they actually listen? Just then, an email notification pinged. My heart dropped. It was from management. "Mia, please come to my office immediately." With each step toward Rosemary's office, the weight of uncertainty pressed down on me like a physical force. As I glanced at Sarah, she shot me an encouraging smile, squeezing my hand for reassurance. "Come in." Rosemary's voice penetrated the air as I knocked. My stomach tightened. "Thank you for coming, Mia," she began, her tone serious yet measured. "We've reviewed your email and the evidence you provided." I felt a rush of anticipation. "You understand, then, James, listen." She cut me off, raising a hand. "I can't make any accusations without further investigation, but I assure you, we will handle this delicately. We take these matters seriously." "Delicately?" I questioned, my voice betraying my disbelief. "He's been doing this for a while, and people deserve to know." Rosemary's gaze shifted, and I could sense her weighing the consequences. "I understand your frustration, Mia, but corporate politics are complicated. It's going to take time." But time was something I felt like I didn't have. "I can't sit back and wait for justice," I blurted. "I need to protect my career. This isn't just about me. We can't let him keep getting away with this." Tension hung in the air, but I pressed forward. "Let's expose the truth. I'm willing to stand by you if we can take action now." She considered me with a newfound respect. "Okay, let's proceed. We'll reach out to legal and assess the best course of action. But you have to be prepared. This might get messy." Outside, the city seemed to pulse with life, but inside me, a fire ignited. For too long, I had lived under the oppressive weight of fear. Today, I would reclaim my narrative, and if it meant fighting against James, I would do it. That evening, I called Sarah with the news. Her cheers echoed in my ear. "I knew you could do it. This is your chance, Mia. Don't let him push you around anymore." Each decision from here on out would shape not only my career, but my very understanding of myself. I was not only pushing back against an unjust system, I was advocating for those who couldn't do it alone or were too scared to speak up. As I lay in bed that night, exhausted but exhilarated, one thing became clear. This battle was far from over. The real fight awaited, but I felt a calm resolve settle in my heart. I would no longer shy away from conflict. Instead, I would embrace it and ensure that truth triumphed. Before we close this chapter, I have an important reminder. If you want to catch the next incredible steps in Mia's journey, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Mia has begun to stand up for herself, but will it lead her to victory or bring even more danger? Stay tuned to find out what happens next.